Hey everyone. I wanted to do two quick updates. The first is the vaccine. I got my vaccine last week, as you all know, and I just wanted to give a little update on, how it went for me, because people were asking, what side effects did you have, or what was the experience like? First and foremost, I got it at Bryan, which is the hospital where I was born, the hospital where I practice, so that was pretty cool to have this next leg of this coronavirus journey be there. And I had like a little minor arm soreness for the first 24 hours, 48 hours, something like that. It was no worse than if I was, exercising and like lifting weights and something like that. Like it would be totally imperceptible. The biggest pain was they used like an industrial Band-Aid, I think. And I had to work up the courage to pull the Band-Aid off, because they always talk about like ripping the Band-Aid off, but this was like a legit ripping the Band-Aid off. I mean, my kids' Band-Aids fall off all the time, and they're just like the most pathetic Band-Aids ever. This one was, a hospital grade Band-Aid, and so I will tell you that was the most trying part of the entire experience. And I've heard from just so many people. I'm in some physician Facebook groups. A lot of people have gotten the vaccine now, and by far the most common thing was soreness in the arm, which is just like any vaccine. It was definitely less sore than like the tetanus vaccine that you get. It definitely did not cause as much pain in the subsequent hours and days as a tetanus vaccine. So that was the most common thing that I saw in, hundreds and hundreds of posts from fellow physicians and that sort that have gotten the vaccine. I think a couple people commented that they had, like chills or just muscle aches or body aches for like 12 hours and then were totally fine after that. Took some Tylenol, kept working, kept, putting themselves at harm's way to take care of patients and everything like that. Certainly something that was as very minor. And so on that front, the only people that they have said, should not get the vaccine in terms of allergy, that's a common question that I hear, is those that have allergy to vaccine components. And even in those people, they're studying it to see, is there a safe way to give them that? Is there, additional watching measures that we have, or some Benadryl, or something along those lines in advance? It's not just anybody that has allergies. I have allergies. It's not just anybody that has food allergies. It's specifically allergies to components of the vaccine. So let me just make that more abundantly clear for y'all. I'm going to have some fellow physicians on in the coming weeks to talk about pregnancy, to talk about breastfeeding and those sorts of things. Both groups are recommended by a number of different groups to get the vaccine when it's available, especially if you are putting yourselves in harm's way. If you're a healthcare worker, if you're a nurse, respiratory therapist, somebody that works in a hospital or clinic or something like that, it's certainly advisable to consider getting the vaccine in those populations, because the risks of coronavirus in pregnancy are substantial, and pregnant women especially are at higher risk for complications. So if you're pregnant and you work in a healthcare setting or a place where you're a teacher or something like that, it's certainly worth considering getting the coronavirus vaccine when you're given the opportunity. The third thing that I want to cover, I know I said two, I got three. The new strain out of the UK that's getting a lot of attention and interest. It's really a small mutation, not like a whole new strain. We think of strains as like the flu, where the flu actually has different components. That's why there's H1N1 and H3N2 and all the different combinations, because the flu can actually rearrange a lot of its genome, and that can cause changes each year, which is why you have to get a flu vaccine each year. All viruses mutate, and what we've seen with the new mutation out of the UK is that it looks like it be more infectious and easy to spread from person to person. I've read things that have talked about, in children it used to be hard to spread. With this new one, their rates approach adult. Not necessarily more virulent, meaning more likely to have serious illness or anything like that, but we can spread it, and if it spreads more, then people that are susceptible are more likely to get it, and so that's why we worry about that, is that it's just easier to spread. Not that those that get it have a more serious illness, it's just easier to spread. So that's something that they're closely watching for. It's not thought that will impact the effectiveness of the vaccines. And so that's something that everybody so far has had a lot of confidence that the vaccines are still effective. Mutations are normal. Your body, when let's say you get coronavirus infection, your body is being bombarded with millions and millions of those tiny little viral particles while they replicate. And so there's plenty of errors that occur, and most of those errors just result in virus particles that don't work or that are just the same as before. But there's always the opportunity for, as the errors occur, that there's some mutation that provides some sort of advantage. And that's what we see here is a competitive advantage of this new mutation to spread more easily. And so it gets selected in the population, just like any sort of evolutionary advantage that happens over time gets selected for, and you get more and more of that. So I don't think it's really anything that should change any behaviors that you're doing or any choices that you're making right now. I mean, I guess you probably don't want to go to the UK, but you're not supposed to be traveling anyways. And so, they're going to make it really hard to get in or out of the UK. So I wouldn't go there for the holidays or the New Year or anything like that. Otherwise, I don't think it's going to affect any behaviors that you're doing on a regular basis. With that being said, it feels like things are better. It feels locally like our case count is dropping, because it is. But we know that there are a lot of places in the country that are having huge surges after Thanksgiving. California right now is running out of hospital beds and ICU space and talking about rationing care. And so we know that just because we're lulling right now, we have to keep things going. We can't just rest on our laurels of, well, we got the case count down to 50 per 100,000, which a while ago would be terrifying, but now that we were at 100 or 110 or whatever it was at, we're not as terrified now because it was only at 50, even though if we had 50 in October or March, we would have been losing our minds. We still have to keep doing all of those important measures that we're doing to keep each other safe. And right now it's, the hospitals have capacity, but what we need to do is protect healthcare workers, and we need to protect the vulnerable. We need to protect those that, getting together and saying, well, there's plenty of hospital capacity, so let's go see grandma. Well, it doesn't matter if there's hospital capacity in terms of grandma's specific illness. Grandma could get seriously ill from this. Somebody that's high risk can still get seriously ill. Just because we have the hospital space doesn't mean that there isn't going to be serious illness and there isn't going to be morbidity and mortality from ongoing exposure. So I totally get that it's the holidays and you want to be with the ones you love, but I would just urge you to do it as safely as possible, which likely means either not getting together, which would be the safest option. If you get together, don't have a meal together, because then you're swapping a lot of air, and there's no way, even in the same room, separated at different tables, that you're not sharing air and sharing the ability to spread coronavirus, because we know there's been good studies that have looked at like a wedding where people were across the room for each other and spread it through the air conditioning and through the general ventilation or lack thereof, that we can spread it. So if you feel like we have to get together, do it with masks. Don't do it with a meal. Get together, have a little bonding time, and then take meals home and have meals at home, or do it outside if possible. I know a lot of the country right now is in the midst of storms. Here it's like 50 degrees outside, which is absurd for Nebraska winter. But get together outside, do it in the garage, wear a jacket and a hat, and open your presents with gloves if you have to. Those are things that you can do for 1 year that are going to make it safer for everybody. And recognize that this is not forever. And next Christmas, I will be wearing the same shirt, because this is I rarely get the chance to wear this shirt. But we won't be doing all of this. We'll have vaccine that's available, and millions and millions and millions and tens of millions and hundreds of millions of people will be vaccinated. Just last week, there were 500,000 plus people in the United States that got the vaccine. We'll have more data. We'll have more information. We won't have to do the same things that we're doing this year, next year. And so have hope and know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and we're going to get there soon. And now is not the time to just give in or give up or say, we've been doing this so long, I'm sick of it, I'm done. We're just so close. We're just at that last mile marker, and we just got to keep going for a little bit longer. And it's hard, but it's going to be over soon. And I have a lot of faith that the next 6 months, we're going to get a lot of things back to normal. We will probably still be wearing masks as we enter summer. I don't know if we'll be wearing masks around Christmas time next year. I think that we'll have a very different attitude, because there'll be so many people that are vaccinated, and the case counts will have fallen, and we'll have more therapeutics on board. it's going to be a lot different, but we just have to have hope and continue on for a little bit longer. Now, if this video has been helpful, please hit the share button, because I know there's a lot of people out there that are having these similar questions, and I know it's really helpful to get more points of view and more people sharing, and reliable sources can be difficult to come by. I hope that you have found me to be reliable and trustworthy, and breaking it down in a way that you can understand. And I wish you a Merry Christmas and happy, safe, healthy New Year. And cheers to 2021, because it's going to be a whole new ball game. We're going to enter the, let's see, there's the BC, like the before Corona, and then after vaccine, the AV years. So keep up hope. Stay strong. Thanks for watching. I create lots of content. I love connecting with my audience over video and audio. So if you want to catch all the videos that I put out, hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss another episode. Hit the thumbs up button, share with a friend, and if you have a question that you'd like me to cover, you can just text me. It's 402-256-0768. And if you'd like to watch another video, there you go. Keep up the good work and have a good day.